When the cold, snow, and ice hit, the bass slow down and they can become super finicky. That's when you better give them something finicky to feed on. So when we talk about the bass getting finicky and you need to get finicky too, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is from NetBait, and this is the Finicky. It is a super finesse little minnow bait, but it's like a minnow bait meets a swim bait, and it's got some super neat features that I'm going to share with you. First off, I'm going to show you, I picked up several different colors of these. This particular color right here is crystal green. This is gizzard shad, smoke grape. This is the deal, juvenile goby. And if you're around some smallmouth, it's always good to have some black. So the Finicky Sonic Glide, there is a few things that's really unusual about this little bait. One of them, it's got little hex pockets, and they actually run pretty deep. Now, that does a few things. It really makes the bait soft, really makes it pliable. The other thing it does is BaitFuel, because NetBait is the same company that makes BaitFuel. They came out with a gel and a hard stick. So what you can do, and I'm not going to do it yet, is you can rub it on, supercharging with BaitFuel, because that's what they call it, supercharging with BaitFuel. And you can rub it on and it'll sit in those little hex pockets. So it'll stay in there longer, it'll hold more BaitFuel, and that's always a plus, especially for finicky, tough, cold water bass. Scent means a lot. Now, the other thing that I really like about this bait is the tail. The tail is a split tail, but it actually can act as a swim bait tail. So it's got on each little prong, I guess, it's got a neat little lip, which is going to catch water and cause it to have a nice tight wiggle, which means you can shake it or you can swim it. And since it's detached, it'll actually give you a little motion underwater of both of the tails kicking, which looks extremely realistic. All right, so this is a 1/4 ounce head. This is the new head made in the USA from Pulse Fish. I think it's like 97% tungsten, made in the USA. So a tungsten head made in the US. And that's what we're going to couple this with today. Again, links in the description for everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to push her right in the middle. Keep that body fat. Come right out the center of the back. And then we're just going to push it up and on the head. Now, let's tie it up and supercharge it. All right, so we're going to tie a little loop knot. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make an overhand knot first. We're going to pull it down. Then we're going to come through our bait and pull that little loop right up to the head. Once we do that, and a good easy way to kind of do that is just literally keep it right there on the head. And then all you got to do is wrap this around about 4 or 5 times. We're going to go through both loops. Then we're just gonna snug that down. Now, I made a little bigger loop than I normally would, just so I could show you a little bit better. Snip off the excess. Now, generally on these heads, you want a loop that is smaller than the head is, so you don't get it wrapped up in it when you're casting it out there. Now, again, let me show you how to supercharge this with this stick. Now, I love the stick because you don't get it on your fingers nearly as bad. You just take and rub it down the side of the bait. And fill them holes full. And there you are. We are ready to go. Geeks, as you can see, they're dropping the lake back here behind me. And what does that mean? Sometimes that means some floating debris. It is winter, it is cold. Make sure you're wearing your life jackets. But overall, make sure that you protect your investment. Look at this. I pay a lot of money for this, and I work very hard for it, and I don't want anything to happen to it, but I also don't want anything to happen to Mike or any of his valuables. So make sure you get the best insurance, not the cheapest insurance, which I've had a lot of you geeks out there say you've got a heck of a lot better deal by going through BIA.US. Tell them BassGeek sent you. I tell you all the time, I've heard so many horror stories since I've started working with BIA. Make sure you're working with a company, boater insurance agency. It's all they do. If you fish tournaments, if you're like me and you do YouTube, you have to have a special kind of insurance. If something happens, those bundles will bundle you straight out the door, if you know what I'm saying. They won't give you nothing if they find out you got a YouTube channel or you're fishing tournaments and you didn't tell them all that up front. Like I said, BIA.US right there. Go check them out. Make sure you tell them BassGeek sent you just to get a quote. All right, geeks, this is one of my casting cores. What's great about the casting cores are they're made completely, or almost completely, the guides aren't, in the USA. And this is a 7-foot medium heavy fast action. Love the handles. These are great grips even when they get wet. And I've got that coupled with a Lose Custom Pro. Now they've updated these. I'll put an updated link in the bottom. By the way, geeks, you know, we don't do memberships or Patreons or stuff like that. So what we do is we've got our affiliate links to Tackle Warehouse down there in the description. So if you want to support the channel, if you enjoy what we do, the best way to support us when you're going to go out and buy some new baits, especially from Tackle Warehouse, just use that link in the description. Bookmark it so you've always got it, or scan this QR code right here so you've got it on your phone or your tablet. It really is the best way to support the channel. It doesn't cost you an extra dime, of course. Now, as far as line goes, we've got K9's Pro 100, that's 100% fluorocarbon, and then we've got their High Vis Yellow cast and braid. 10-pound test on this thing. We can cast this sucker a mile. And we do have a 10% off discount for you to try. Listen, if you love the scope or you're fishing highlands, clear water reservoirs like me, and you need to make those long casts, you need to go check out their silk braid. Smoothest, longest casting braid on the market, I'll guarantee it. So like I said, there's really a couple of retrieve methods, and it really opens the door for this little finesse bait, the Finicky Sonic Glide, to do a lot of different things. You know, you've got those two little tails back there. Now, they're not going to kick crazily. It's not going to be a huge wide kick. It's going to be a nice tight kick when you're just swimming it like you would a swim bait at good slow speeds, because this thing is going to be very, very subtle. This is a very, very subtle little bait. The other way you can fish it, of course, is tight lining it, or, you know, using your live scope, and you're just going to shake this bait. You're going to shake it. That's why I got a loop knot tied on there, so that we get a little roll action out of it. So you can actually change up. If you've got a bass coming, you can swim it up to the bass and then start shaking, or you can shake it up to the bass and start swimming. This little bait gives you options that a lot of other little minnow style baits just do not. And that's why I like it so much, especially because I can put a little scent on it. And guys, tight lining around here, the big deal with tight lining was that we used gulp minnows all the time. I can't tell you if there's one time of year that I think scent really gives you an advantage or helps you out, is during the wintertime. So if you're not putting scent on your baits, you know, if you're not putting some sort of stink on these things, if you're not supercharging it with BaitFuel, then you're not catching as many bass as you could be. It's just, that years ago proved to me that anything you can do in the winter to get one more bass to commit, you need and better do. Especially on a day like today, the water temps are 37, 38. So, you know, these bass are pretty finicky. So as far as retrieves, change it up, try new things, do new things with this bait. Sometimes I'll just let it swim back to me. Sometimes I'm going to shake it just like a minnow bait. The places, again, this time of year for me, we're talking about the main lake, and we're talking about the mouths of the creek. We caught one or two, seen a couple back here in one spot, but really the first third. And I mean the first of the first third, right? We got a couple of schools located over here, but that's kind of where it's at. The shad are right out here at the very mouth, at the opening on the main lake. So that's the places you're going to want to look at. But there's just a lot of different ways that you can fish this, with and without forward-facing sonar. It's a great, one of the most finessey swim baits I've ever used. And, you know, like I always say, make sure your drag's set right. Make sure your rod reel line. That's why we tell you about the rod reel line. The rod reel line really is more about landing those fish and hooking those fish. It really is, that's what it's about. Like, yeah, there's some times when I'll use certain rods or certain combinations of line and rod and reel that will help me get a longer cast. But most of the time, having that action, having that power, and really it's different across every single brand, having that reel with the good drag, and having that line that you can depend on, especially this time of year on lighter lines, are super important. Again, it's one of those things, you get more bites. The lighter line, the more finesse you go. It's just so important to landing those fish. That's where that stuff comes in. It's why we share it with you. Now, as far as hook set goes, you're going to straight up hook set, make sure your drag's right, get that rod tip down. Somebody told me a while back, every time that they lowered the rod tip, they would lose a bass. Well, the reason why when you're lowering a rod tip, you're losing a bass is because you're not reeling. So when you lower that rod tip, don't just drop your rod tip. We're not saying drop your rod tip, guys. We're saying reel down to the water level. So in other words, as you're dropping that rod tip, you have to compensate by turns of the reel handle. You have to speed that up. Me and Mike was watching one of my old Demiki rig videos way back in the day, just, you know, 2D sonar. And I lost 2-3 fish right off the bat because I would come to land them and I would walk down into the cockpit. And the problem was that I had a hook that had a very, very small barb on it. And as I walked down, I did not compensate with the reel, keeping the line tight. And so as I walked down, I gave them just enough slack for the bait just fall out of their mouth. So, you know, it's a give and take. You have to do these things. And look, I know a bass jumping looks great on Bill Dance and Roland Martin, but that's the thing you don't want them to do. You do not want a bass to jump. You want to keep him in the water as much as you can, and you're not filling his mouth full of water with a finesse combo. So anyway, there's my tirade on that today. But as far as getting these bass to the boat, make sure you get down there, put them on your thumb. It's light line. It's cold, which means the line is a little more brittle. Or make sure you're using your net. Which me and Mike, we invested in a new net. I can't wait to get it out here. We got a little finagling to do as far as storage, but I cannot wait. I like the net that comes with Camus, but we're not fishing for, 100-pound stripers most time. And I mean, it's about waist deep, so a little much for what we're doing. All right. Realistically, I mean, that's it. This thing, I really haven't discovered everything I can do with this bait yet. So get out there. If there's a way you like to fish it that's a little bit different, man, tell us all. Help us all catch more bass. Leave those comments down in the description. Tell us what you do with it. Now, geeks, when I talk about scent in this video and how important it is during the wintertime, there's a device that I really think helps out when you're fishing during the wintertime, bass chasing shad, summer, fall. I mean, I use it all the time, and it is something that I would not live without now unless I had to, and that is a hydro wave. If you think hydro waves have kind of gone away because of forward-facing sonar, don't. Now, all that being said, you need to go check out a video that talks about a hydro wave right here. Otherwise, questions and comments in the comment section below. If you fish this thing, make sure you leave a comment down there. Tell us your favorite way to fish it and how it dominates for you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. And as always, you geeks rock.